Hey guys, so I am back here on YouTube after a little bit of a break. If you like what you see, you want some exclusive stuff, click the link below and head on over to my Patreon, which will have some extra lessons, some behind the scenes stuff, all kinds of fun stuff over there, so go and check that out. But today what I want to talk about is bending. So it's something I get asked about a lot, of how do I get my bending sounding better, sounding crisper, a bit more able to tackle different things. And I think we have to look at, first of all, the technique we use, and then I've got an exercise that'll really help you start to dial in that intonation and get some better accuracy going on. So when I see people teach bending, when I see people bend, one of the things I really commonly see is what I call inchworming, which is when a lot of the bend is coming from the fingers basically lengthening. And it's one of the things that'll just kill your bending, the intonation, the success of it. And it mostly comes down to the fact that if you're just using your fingers to push, it's a small muscle group. It's not going to be all that reliable, and you don't have that much strength. And it's often where you hear those bends where it sort of gets up to pitch, but then starts dying immediately, kind of not a confident sounding bend, not a good sounding bend. So first off, we look at the technique. Now, I think of it as like that royal wave motion, where I have a fulcrum point, which is going to be for bends that are going towards the floor. It's just going to be that side of my first finger there up against the side of the neck. So that's the idea. Like, you can practice this with, say, first finger on the G string, and almost think of it as a cross between vibrato and bends. If I'm going, you see that the finger is taking the string along with it, but that motion is just that rotation of the forearm there. And the reason it takes the string is I have this part of my first finger up against the side of the neck. That makes it happen. If you go watch some of my videos on vibrato, I talk about the same thing there. Now all we're doing is, like, if we're doing, say, a third finger bend going down towards the floor, it's fretting with the third finger. You'll notice that I have the fingers bracing behind, especially that middle finger bracing. The first finger is actually going to help mute a little bit. You're going to see it's kind of flat there across things. You'll also notice that for bracing purposes, those are all connected. I'm not here. It's a much stronger feeling if I'm there. And then if I want to bend, and you see how the string goes with the finger, but I'm not doing this. I'm not just much weaker sounding bend than if I use that turning of the forearm. And then the thumb's really just there in that instance to provide control. Now, when I'm going up to the ceiling, I'm still thinking of this as that forearm turning, but now I need the thumb involved as a counter pressure so the neck doesn't just go up. So I have the thumb here, and you'll see the thumb really activate. Once again, if I'm, say, trying to bend the 11th fret on the B string with my third finger, take the third finger there, that middle finger is going to help brace. You'll notice that the first finger a little flatter. It's going to help mute. It's going to help the thing of where when I go up, you're not going to get the G and the D strings ringing out because that first finger is covering them. And then it feels like a pinch in between the side of the first finger and the thumb. And you see how, once again, the angles of the fingers don't really change. You can see it's this happening, but with these solidified against the neck. Also makes it pretty streamlined when we want to add vibrato to our bends. Because if we have one technique that is encompassing our bends and vibrato, it's pretty easy to then get that vibrato added on top. So, talk about the technique here, that's all good, but then how do you work on getting your bends more in tune, crisper, just sounding better? Well, here's the one exercise that's going to change it for you on that, and it's just matching pitches. So most commonly we're using half step and whole step bends. We'll start thinking about whole step bends. So let's say we want to bend the B flat here at the 11th fret of the B string, up a whole step, going up to that C. So how would we do that? Well, normally you'd hear it like this. And at that point, you're mostly using your ear to say, hey, I got it to the right pitch. Here's how I want you to think about bends. More as a muscle memory thing. So when I think about bends, we have the target pitch and we have the rise up to that target pitch. We have the fall. And really good benders, so any of your guys of a David Gilmour, Jeff Beck, modern players who are great benders, whether it be a Bonamassa, if we're talking about more rock players like, say, a Slash, you have control over that rise, that fall, but it's always getting it to the accurate target pitch. So here's what I do. I play the target pitch. No vibrato, nothing on it. I just want to hear the target pitch. Then I bend up to that note, and you hear how I pre-bent it, or actually you don't hear because I pre-bent it, then I pick it, and then I play the target pitch again, and I say, okay, was I right on? I was pretty close there. Am I sharp or am I flat? And a bend at every point of the neck on every string is going to feel different, but what this starts to build is that muscle memory behind the bend, where if I'm trying to bend that up to here, I play that. I was a little sharp there. So now I know how I have to calibrate things. Then I could try it here. Pretty right on. And the more that I practice that, at that point, I can control, do I want to hear, sometimes I want that. Other times I want this. And if I'm trying to get immediately up to that note, I don't have the chance to be using my ear to listen for, am I to the right pitch? That's where this exercise really comes in, changes the game. And it's something where you want to work on the technique, and then you want to work on this exercise for maybe 5 minutes a day. You spend 5 minutes a day on this, and in a week, you'll find your accuracy way up. In a month, even better, and it just keeps building. And then you have the option to decide what kind of rise, what kind of fall do I want on every single one of your bends. It's going to make you more versatile. It's going to make you sound better. So once again, if you dug this lesson, go ahead, click the link below to subscribe. Also, click the link over to the Patreon if you want some bonus content, and I'll see you back here soon.